Hello guys, so I'll be your instructor for today. We'll start our lecture from terminal basics. Now, before starting the lecture, I would like to tell you guys something about myself. My name is Jasif Mahmood and I'm a researcher at IIIT Hyderabad and I'm a mathematician. My area of work is AI, ML, deep learning and stuff. I'll be your instructor for this foundation week and Python and then core computer science like data structure and algorithms. So let's start our lecture with a little introduction about the terminal. So I would like to let you guys know, if there is a prerequisite for this course or not. The only prerequisite that is required is English. Okay, if you can understand what I'm saying, then it's good. It's very good enough. Okay, don't need to know anything else. And I have a teaching experience. I was a teaching assistant in IIIT Hyderabad, so that is also good. Let's move forward. We'll spend some time on introduction of the terminal, then we'll talk about the application that we might require, that where we can run our terminal commands, and then we'll talk about the commands themselves. So before this starts, as you can see around yourself, there are computers everywhere. Okay, you can see computers everywhere around yourself. If you see a washing machine, okay, so washing machine also does something like when you put clothes inside it and then when you spin it around. So let's say it spins for 10 seconds. It spins clockwise. Then for next 10 seconds, it will spin anti-clockwise. Okay. Now there must be something happening inside the washing machine circuit board that will tell you how these actions are done. Like there will be a chip inside the washing machine, and inside that chip, there will be a hardware component, let's say an IC or something. In that, some programmer has coded down that for 10 seconds, the washing machine should rotate clockwise, and for next 10 seconds, should spin anti-clockwise. So this is a program that somebody must have written that is installed inside your washing machine. So this washing machine works on a program that acts like a computer. Okay. It also has some code running inside and what to do after every 10 seconds. And I can give you another example, like the phone you have in your pocket. Okay, your phone. So give me a second. So back in the day, phones were very not that much heavy, but nowadays the we use, like the phone that I use, I'll let you guys know. Okay, I use a Poco F, and this phone has 6 GB of RAM. It has 3 gigahertz CPU. Okay, and it has 128 GB of memory. Okay, now this is a very high specification compared to a computer. Like the first computer that I owned, my personal computer, the first PC that I had only 512 MB of RAM, and there was 100 GB. There was 50 GB hard disk, and the processor that I had was Core 2 Duo. That was like 1 point something gigahertz. But now my computer is in comparison to a phone that we have right now. My phone is a very powerful computer. It whatever instruction I give the phone to do. Like if I click on opening the camera, it opens the camera. If I application like WhatsApp or something, it will open it. Okay. So this is also a computer, our phone. And there are many devices like anti-lock braking systems. Okay. Have these systems and they are responsible for, like, let's say there is a car going high speed, and this software actually helps to apply brake in a way so the car doesn't skid or slip or topple. Okay, so this software over here that actually helps in braking and stuff, this is also a code that somebody wrote. And if somebody would have wrote in a bad way, let's say this code was a bad code, so this would have resulted in a car crash. Okay, so this person who wrote this code, first of all, he'll be fired. Second, whoever was driving the car and whose ever this anti-braking system it actually failed, that person would have died. So software is actually very important, and if somebody messes up this software, then that person can actually die. So softwares are very important, and we also know, okay, there is an autopilot in planes. Okay, this is also responsible um, for a smooth plane ride. Okay, so there is computer everywhere around us, and people write code inside it so that we can actually do something. Okay, and many times these things are very important. Something like an autopilot that is so important that if messes that up, people might die. Now, when we make these type of devices to do something that we want it to do, we call it programming. Okay, we call it programming. Programming that computer to do something that I want computer to do. So programming actually means programming tells you making a computer understand and do something that I want it to do. Okay, and this is what I meant by programming. Okay, I'm making a computer understand what I want it to do. And a small piece of code. Um, let's say I can show you code that I wrote. So this is a very small code. Okay, it's just 42 lines of code. What it does, this code extract frames from a video. What do I mean by frames? If I open this, we'll let it open. It takes some time to open. Till then, I'll tell you what actually a video is made of. A video is a series of photos. Okay, these photos are going so fast that our eye thinks, our eyes, they think that this rapid changing of photos is actually a video. Our brain thinks like that. Okay, so these each photos are called frames. And I wrote a simple program so that given a video, if you give me a video, I can extract frames from that video. Let's say it opened. Let's say it. Okay. So let's open one. Let's open something that will look like a video. Okay. So these are all the frames from that video only. Let's say I'm starting from frame number 134. Okay. So let it open. Okay. This is a frame. If I press next key over here, I can see next frame. If I press next key, this is the next frame. Again next frame. Again next frame. But if I keep the frame, like if I go next to the next frame very fast, then your brain thinks that this is a video playing. But in reality, what is happening? These are just frames which are changing at a very rapid speed. Now, when these frames are there, I can actually make an application or a software that can play these frames at a very high speed. And then that rapidly changing of frames will be called a video. And there are many applications that actually do that, like VLC Media Player or MX Player in your phone. Okay, that one does this only. So I wrote a code over here that extracts frame from a video, and then VLC Player takes these frames and plays them so fast that it looks like a video. Okay, so this is also a program, and the code that I wrote to extract frames was also a program. Okay, guys. Okay, cool. Let's move forward. So We know that our whole world is full of computers. Okay, the programs that we see, like this application Zoom that I'm using right now, Google Chrome, or games that we see. Okay, each and everything is actually a computer program. Okay, now